Welcome back to the AI Driven Marketer. I'm Dan Sanchez, and I'm introducing a new guest, actually, a new host. It's actually my brother, Travis Sanchez, who is an original, at least in my podcast history. Bro, did you know you were my first interview on podcasting over all the episodes I've ever done?
I vaguely remember that. In fact, I remember the exact seat and place that I was sitting when I did that. That was a really good time.
For those who are tuning in to LinkedIn, you're probably thinking like, what? Dan has a brother? I do. I have a brother. He's a year younger than me. He doesn't look anything like me. And so multiple times we've had to prove to people that we are indeed brothers, same mom, same dad. So we're completely opposite in every way. Like you're tall, I'm short. Our Myers-Briggs are exact opposites. It's just how 100%. It is with us. 100%. But the one thing we have in common is that we're both freaking marketing directors and we're both digging deep into AI. So I thought hey, maybe we need to have a co-hosted show, call it Bot Bros, and just see how it goes. So Trav, welcome to the co-host seat.
I literally could not be more happy to join and be a part of this. One thing we do have in common, Dan, is we are both, I think, fairly gifted, or I would say blessed with the genes that we have. Maybe not gifted, though we do work out, like to run, like to stay fit. You said short, tall. It was not like skinny and then larger. It was
That's true. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, seriously.
The first thing that came into my head was like, well, I'm wearing Levi's. Oh, those jeans got it. Oh, so this is the new short format. It's going to be a variety show into AI because we all know there's a ton of freaking hype around AI. So what we want to do is cover kind of a broad spectrum of news that's happening every single week, from AI news to poll results that I'm polling every week on LinkedIn, to viral posts, to new tools, and even getting to a Q&A eventually, in order to help marketers navigate the hype and turn it into help. And that's the point of the show. We're testing it and seeing how it goes. So let's actually just dive into it. News has been busy in AI. It feels like every week with AI has a lot going on. There's whole channels dedicated to just news and AI. The funny part is like some of that news is relevant to marketers and some of it's just not. Like, there was an Optimus in Tesla event about robo-taxis. Is it relevant for marketers? Not really. Is it fun?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
In fact, you told me originally that the Optimus bot was beyond real.
Yeah, there was a level of communication and intelligence that I had not yet seen on any AI model. When I watched it over and over and over again, I realized to my guesstimation, I thought there's no way that AI is reacting to the crowd, killing silent moments. That is only something a human can do. So that was my first reaction, is that it was a human piloted drone.
And news came out that it kind of was. It was humans speaking through a microphone. You're like, okay,
I knew it.
AI is good, but it's not that good. Not yet, but soon.
Not yet. It will be. It will be.
Again, there's AI news happening like this all the time. If you're a tech nerd, then you're probably watching it and following along. If you just want to know how to do better marketing, there is a lot of AI news that is relevant to you. One thing that I think we're all have eyes on as far as marketing goes, because we're all into content marketing, we all know a big part of marketing is video, is kind of the state of AI video. Multiple announcements happened this week. I'm not even going to summarize them all because they're really just all these incremental things that a lot of AI video from Runway, Meta put out a new video model. Google's working on their new video model. It's like everybody's like improving this video thing. But so I wanted to talk about like the state of AI video. You said something to me about like where it's going and where you think it's going this week, and the community we're working on right now. We'll talk about later. Where do you think it's currently at? Do you think it's actually useful for marketers now, or is it just something where you see it coming in around the corner?
I've actually been hopeful for video. Every so often, I will go into ChatGPT, find the newest GPT or custom video program that connects to the latest software that tries to take a script or help you write a script and then plug in B-roll and then include a voice. And right now it's like F+, if that was an actual grade model. But I am getting excited for more short form clips. I've seen some AI generated video clips based off of photos that were originally created in Dolly or Midjourney, wherever, that actually have some life to them. I don't think they're released yet. I think it's all in the beginning stages, but I have been hopeful that short form, I'm talking 6-second video forms that would actually get people to question whether it was reality. Funny story, the latest video that I saw, mostly people on Facebook, sorry, people at Facebook, falling for a video of a giraffe that was about 3 stories tall, stuck on the side of a cliff, and they were trying to save it. But people genuinely believed that the giraffe was real. I was shocked. But it did, if you weren't paying attention, you could be fooled. So we're heading in an interesting direction for sure.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen that with images. The amount of AI images I see floating through the Facebook feed right now is crazy. We'll get to images in a second. That's next. AI videos are interesting. I just saw one this morning. I saw a little clip. I just finished watching the Rings of Power series on Amazon, the Lord of the Rings thing that Amazon's doing. Been really fun. And of course, I've been consuming lots of extra content because half the fun with watching really deep, nerdy things like that is all the commentary around it, because there's so much backstory. Like that's the other, like half of it's the real production and the other half is just watching YouTuber commentary.
Yeah.
And what I find people are doing with the AI clips is they're using Midjourney to come up with an image of a Balrog, like the big fire demon stuff. And then they're throwing it into Runway to animate it for just a 2 to 3 second B-roll clip as they're talking about it. They have it like moving in multiple poses. Now, it's not like they'll take clips from the video, of course. I don't know how they get the clips out of Amazon, but they do. They have been doing that for a while, but they create all these nice little supplemental clips that I can, everyone can tell they're AI generated, but they're still pretty good. I mean, you can't, most YouTubers can't generate that kind of creature. So I'm finding that people using AI clips more for B-roll is starting to increase, but it still feels like AI. So certain
100%.
kinds of creators can get away with it. I can't really see marketers using that for B-roll and video yet, but it's maybe next year. Maybe next year. 2024 was the preview. 2025, maybe we start using just 3-second clips.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. And I've seen some clips that I'm fairly certain the program that runs some of the finer 2 to 3 to 4 second clips, they're so good, but I don't actually think they're released quite yet. I was listening to a YouTuber, I actually don't remember his name, but he's like, I'm under 50 NDAs so that I don't speak about what's coming. So he's clearly getting a little bit of the inside scoop on what is coming for video generation and AI. And because I was looking for I was like, oh my gosh, I want to create a 3-second video of a guy walking down the street in a suit, but it's not released yet. So it's coming soon.
Now, the state of AI images, I haven't heard a lot going on in this space, though. I think Google just made an announcement they had updated their image making engine, and it's better. Still not Midjourney level, but I'm surprised with as much effort as people are putting into video. It seems like the image space has been quiet for 8 months, ever since the new version of Midjourney came out, and Midjourney's made improvements. Dolly's hasn't been touched in a year. But even the state of it, where it's at right now, is still helpful. I'm using it a lot for illustrations because even as a graphic designer, I couldn't illustrate stuff. I couldn't come up with a pencil drawing of things. I couldn't come up with digital art that reflected AI or illustrations. And that's kind of nice, even with where it's at right now. And it's still not perfect, but dang, it's almost like you don't have to go to iStock Photo anymore for those perfect stock 100%. Photos.
Yeah.
Most of them you can just make through something like Midjourney if you know how to prompt it well.
Something, and maybe you could answer this, Dan, with more experience in Midjourney and image creation. I was trying to help the automated video editor with some better B-roll shots, or at least images. And I tried to create a cohesive structure of images for the B-roll, but it just really struggled from one prompt to another, giving me that, that consistency along the way. It would always just, even though I would give it really specific prompts, I want this shot on a Sony A7S III. I want it shot with a 28 millimeter lens. I tried to give it as much detail as possible, but I couldn't quite get that continuity. Have you tried to, I don't know, put images to a book or a story of some kind that you've gotten that continuity?
No, I tried a while ago, and then I just
Yeah.
haven't even revisited it because
Hmm.
I haven't seen anybody else talk about it. The only continuity that I'm seeing is creating like AI models and I'm that are photographic. Those seem to work well when I see case studies about it, but it's not. I can't seem to get continuity around characters. I can't seem to get the kind of
Right.
continuity I'm looking
Same.
for even like a college campus if I'm doing like stock photos for a university or something like that.
Wow.
It's just hard. I have seen some people get consistent imagery for like it almost looks like it came out of a photo shoot for like a college campus. I work a lot in that higher ed space, so I'm still involved in that, and that's interesting.
Have you been able to play with the system? And I actually am curious if they still have it running. I believe it was Dolly. You could create an image and then highlight the area you wanted to change, and then it would change that specific area. Or is that Mid
Yeah,
Journey that I was messing around with
both
that?
of them do that now,
Okay.
but Midjourney is better than it. And I actually don't use like if I didn't have Photoshop, then I would be doing that in Midjourney all the time. But because I have Photoshop and Photoshop's ability to do content aware fill, which
Yeah.
means you can literally like it used to be a nightmare in graphic design to deal with stock photography because
Right.
you needed space, you needed the photo to be smaller and then for this other space to be filled in to fill in the top of the book cover, whatever you're designing. Nowadays, you just drop the photo wherever it's the best position and then you just say content aware fill and it fills up the
Right.
rest
Yeah.
of your design canvas and you're
Yeah.
done.
I
It's
have messed with the generative
cool.
fill in Photoshop, which is it's unbelievable. But I think when Adobe gets into the generative fill and using AI to really help photo editors to create total landscapes, that's the kind of thing we need is old school players in the digital marketing space or in the creative space, and then they're just adding AI to better the program that usually is the only one that people use. It's the top of the market, right? But in terms of ChatGPT and Midjourney, I don't think there's been much advancement, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, some marketers are using Canva, and I think they can do it, but not very well. They'll catch up. I'm hoping
Yeah,
Canva catches up as much as possible, though, because Adobe needs a
yeah,
competitor to
yeah.
humble it and bring its prices down. Because dang, I'm like, come on, we need some competition. Adobe's almost got a monopoly on that. If it weren't for Canva, I'd be
Wow,
scared.
isn't that the truth?
Um, so moving on, there was one piece of news that I just thought was interesting. It's not super relevant for marketers, but I just want to highlight it because it really did make me think. But Apple Research launched this whole AI report. It's funny, we were just talking about this morning, and I found the report for this segment, proving that AI really, even at the best, doesn't know how to really reason. Even though we've just started seeing reasoning models like ChatGPT's O1 preview, it's just getting smarter at predicting things and then predicting things in chunks to
Wow.
fake reasoning. Because they did a test where they took like an 8th grade math test of word problems, and all the AIs have pretty solid benchmarks in solving this. And they changed the names of all the fake characters, like, oh, Jennifer walked to the store and bought 4 apples, and then Mike went and bought 5 apples. If they, and those kind of word problems, all they
Right.
did was change the names of the characters, and they all dropped in 10% in their
Wow.
ability to solve the problem, which shows
Wow.
Apple was using that in a number of other tests they did, saying like, this shouldn't have mattered, and somehow it did. So how
Wow.
smart can they really be? Which just gives me a little hope that like AI can do a lot for you, but at the same time, it doesn't like we don't have to be creeped out about it. Like it's
Yeah.
really just a really smart computer predicting things, and
Right.
that's about all it is. Even as smart as it is, as good as the voice sounds, it's just a tool. Let's learn how to use the tool to
Right.
push forward positive things
Right.
instead of worrying about AI taking over the world. Because I've heard AI or Meta's AI chief AI guy say like AI is not even cat like as smart as a cat yet, as far as its ability to really understand what's going on. So
Wow.
I thought that was kind of insightful. I did a poll a couple of weeks ago, and I think every week we do this. We're going to look at some poll results. I asked the question, and you haven't seen the answers to this poll. I know I sent you the briefing on this before, so I'm going to let you guess at what the results were.
Oh,
I
fun.
said AI marketing is, and then I gave 4 categories. You're not looking at the results, right?
Nope.
Okay. I said AI marketing is a waste of time, somewhat helpful, increasingly helpful, a game changer.
Oh.
What do you think the range was?
Oh gosh, I would say probably 10% on the first one that were just kind of like they don't think it's a benefit. Maybe 20% on the second one where it's a little bit helpful. Let's say it's probably staggering where it goes up a little bit. I mean, I'm guessing a majority are realizing AI is going to be helpful because I'm sure they've used it in multiple forms. So I'd actually take back the 20%. It's probably closer to like 10, 15, 20, and then whatever the rest of that is. What is that? 25 plus 45. So like 65% on the top one.
See if I can share my screen real quick. Bam, you crushed it. A little off.
Oh, wow.
I'm how close you were in your analysis of that. So we have, if you're listening into the audio, a wasted time was 4%. So it's less. Somewhat help. I always feel like there's more people that slam AI.
Yeah,
of course,
I'm surprised
I think the people follow me
actually.
are more AI optimistic, but I mean, this post got 4,000 impressions,
right?
209 votes.
Wow.
And since I've been talking a lot about AI, so I probably have more AI optimists hanging out with me now. But only 4% were really haters. And 26% somewhat helpful, 34% increasingly helpful, and 36% for the highest one, a game changer. So marketers are seeing it like I'd say the vast majority of marketers are seeing this as helpful, and a lot of marketers are saying this is game changer or will be game changer soon.
They've made the right choice, but we're a little biased.
Yeah, no, it's gonna take over the world. It's certainly gonna take over marketing.
Well, we're getting a little nihilist really quick here.
Well, when I say take over the world, I don't mean like it's gonna like be our like overlords. I mean like it's going to be ingrained in everything that we do, from our eating to our sleeping to our entertainment to our relationships. It's just going to be a layer on top of everything, kind of like social, but even more pervasive. That's what I mean. And it'll be great. It's going to be great. In some ways, it could probably be scary too, but I'm optimist, so hopefully it goes well.
You always have a choice.
But I'm excited that people are optimistic about it and seeing some gains. Hopefully we can continue to provide value so that you can continue to see more and more help come from AI and bring some clarity to that. Next up was, I saw this post just yesterday, and I've texted a few people about it, and some people have seen it. But if you haven't seen this yet, like this was huge. This was huge. It like blew my mind. I'm going to share my screen again. And actually, yeah, I'm just going to share even my notes that I'm reading off of. This tweet, I actually found it from Sam Altman, retweeted Tom Morgan. And he said, pretty cool. Ask, and this is for paid users of ChatGPT. If you haven't been paying for it, this won't work for you. But if you've been paying for it, this is one of the best prompts I've tried out in a while. Ask ChatGPT, from all of our interactions, what is one thing that you can tell me about myself that I may not know about myself? If you haven't tried it, you have to try this one thing. What did you think when I sent it to you and you tested it this morning?
I had already tested the functionality of ChatGPT's knowledge of me based on how much information I've given it. So I expected decent results, and I was actually blown away with a high expectation that it would do well. I was encouraged. I was kind of drawn aback that it would know that amount of detail. It almost gave me information of someone I would have paid to help encourage me along my path. It was literally like, you got this. The journey you've been on over the short year has been so strong. You're growing. You're looking for structure. You're looking for growth and knowledge in entrepreneurship. And the one line it said was, and you probably don't believe that you're capable, but you clearly are. And I was just like, whoa. So yeah, I was not just blessed. I just felt so encouraged after I read it.
Yeah. What's interesting is after that feedback, we should go back and ask it, be like, based on what you know about us, What do you think our Myers-Briggs is without telling it, if you hadn't had a conversation about that
Yeah,
already?
I bet
See
it
how
knows.
accurate it is at predicting
I
what your
bet it knows.
Myers-Briggs is? That'd be really interesting.
Listen, I was that guy kind of pushing the envelope of emotional intelligence. Like, yo, can you
Yeah.
feel? Like, can you feel? I know it can't feel, but can you relate with me and use empathy to make me feel seen and heard? And honestly, it helped. It really did.
Yeah. So this is kind of a fun thing. I think every marketer needs to try this. Again, you have to have been paying for it for a while for it to build up the memories about you and to understand who you are. I think the reason why every marketer needs to try this, who has the data for it right now, is that it was so good at like looking into you and even pulling out a few things that you knew deeply is true, but you didn't quite know.
Yep.
It's so eerily accurate that what it tells me is that it's also going to be very good at understanding others. Okay, this is important because right now I'm even doing the work of I'm actually working at a new job. I have a new company. I haven't announced who or what yet. I'm still waiting. I'm veiling the curtain on that. But I'm actively practicing this stuff in a job. I'm a new marketing director, and I just did a survey. 1,000 people filled it out. 7-question survey. I asked some pretty broad questions and let them fill into their heart's desire with long text. I only had a few drop-down menus, and the rest of it's text. But I'm pretty confident that if I give it the data, that it's going to be able to understand
Analyze
the answers, not just at an analytical level, but even an emotional level, even at a deeper level than I would think. And you can kind of prove it to yourself and feel more comfortable trusting the AI to do assessments on surveys like this because it can do it for you. And that's why I think this text is so important, because people, I think us as marketers and marketing leaders, can get a better feeling for like the trust factor that we have with AI. And that's why I'm excited about this, and was excited about when I tested it. Like I just did it last night, and I was like, wow, this is so good. I felt better about giving it all the survey data and then having a conversation with how this target audience was feeling about the products and about where they're going with their own goals.
That makes me want to ask ChatGPT, which products do you think I'm prone to purchase in the next 12 months, and see if it has a good analysis? Because what you're saying is you're asking ChatGPT to analyze and understand the greater user base of that company and organization and see what makes these people tick. So if we just ask the question, what's something I don't know about myself that you might, it might have predictions on my purchasing patterns too. Even though I haven't made purchases through it, it might know enough about our personality and emotional place. I don't know. It might be the next question to ask it.
No, the future of like retargeting is going to be stupid, creepy, right? Like if you think Amazon's engine and recommendation engine is good now, give it another couple of years.
Okay, but where are my conspiracy theorists? Maybe it's not even conspiracy anymore, that they really do listen to you on your phone.
Yeah, no. That's been blown out of the water a while ago. Multiple meta
Yeah.
people have come out being like, yeah, it's absolutely listening. It's not people listening. It's just the algorithms, and they're just matching you to ads better. That's it. Which is why you can be talking about
Cheetos, what do you mean by
and then see an ad for Cheetos.
What do you mean by people listening? Like they're not actually listening to my microphone?
Yeah, well, your iPhone, right? Because your iPhone's recording.
Yeah, the microphone on my iPhone. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, your phone's, my phone's sitting right next to me. Your phone's sitting right next to you. They've been doing that for years and years. I think iPhone's made it harder for Meta to do it now.
Yeah.
Through iPhone, which is why it's gotten worse in the ad platform, but whatever.
Yeah, that's not so much AI, but still.
I know, but that's old tech. Imagine with the new tech.
It's crazy.
So as part of this, I want to start doing community highlights. We've actually just launched a community called AI Driven Marketers. Going to be opening that up very soon. In fact, I think we're just going to open up and make it public until a certain amount of people join, and then I might close it again. So if you're listening to this on the live or on the podcast, just know a link's coming to become part of the community. If you don't join early, then I don't know where exactly the pay gate goes as far as how many people subscribe to it, but eventually there will be.
Yeah, for sure.
But come in, join. AI Driven Marketers is coming to the school platform because I find that to be pretty intuitive and easy to interact with. So just plugging that. That's coming soon.
Yep.
Moving on to tool highlights. Now I have 2 tools here that I think are really fun. I just discovered them. One from a YouTube influencer and the other one from TikTok, of all places, was telling about 2 cool tools you should know or something, some kind of series like that. I feel like maybe we should do a series like that. One of them is called chatbase.co. And I thought it was a really cool tool because it answers a question that I've wanted. It essentially makes it easy to build your own custom GPT. Nothing new about that. But you build it on their website so that you can embed a custom GPT into your website, which I was like, I could come up with scenarios for that. Imagine having a membership site where you have like frequently asked questions, and instead of sending them to your support, you just send them to your custom GPT. I guess it's more of a chatbot, but it's easier to build than a chatbot, where I think chatbots could go off base. People are used to dealing with ChatGPT, and there's a whole bunch of situations where you can build a custom GPT. Right now, every time I build one, I have to send people to the link of ChatGPT, and if you don't have an account, well, it doesn't work. And if it requires a lot of back and forth, well, you'll start to run into not enough data within your own ChatGPT account. So I thought it was kind of a cool tool that people could probably be plugging into memberships and preloading it with the data and the instructions to execute the thing. So Dan, that's Chatbase.
If Dan or if people that are listening don't know what you're talking about when it comes to a custom GPT or a custom chat GPT, what's like a 30-second pitch, including what is a custom chat GPT and why should anyone have one, whether for personal use or for organization or company?
You calling me out for staying too down in the deep end?
No, if someone's listening and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Custom
You're like,
GPT?
Dan, come back up for air, please.
Like, let me download the app first and get a recipe. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't make
a custom GPT is just a modified version of like the normal GPT. In fact, most of the major like AI models have them. Google has Gems. Claude has projects as their custom GPT.
Oh, okay.
And it's essentially like this little chat GPT you can set aside and just load custom instructions into it, maybe a few documents. So you can load instructions into it saying something like, hey, you take the role of a producer. And every time I give you a guest name, I want you to start executing these instructions with it. And that's what I did. Like my showrunner, if you go to myshowrunner.com, like I literally give you the instructions to build your own podcast showrunner that'll do a lot of pre-production and automate your pre-production process for your show. And I show you how to do it. I give you the instructions, you plug it in and customize it, chat GPT to be able to run those instructions. It's not like code or anything either. It's literally just me typing out like, hey, step by step, do this like you would to an intern. So that's a custom GPT.
It's good. I feel like there might be people even listening that still that explanation, they're like, I still don't know what you're talking about. Just because AI is so new. And I think there's still a lot of people out there that still haven't even utilized. A lot of people on my past team they're not utilizing ChatGPT. It is an information tool that is so much faster than Google that you can plug questions into and it'll spit things out, but it doesn't just spit out answers. It actually creates content and I guess text for you. So this makes me think of how can we explain even ChatGPT or these new AI abilities in a simple way. So maybe something for the future, but it makes me want to work on that. Alex Hermosi is so good at explaining things to a third grader. Like, how can you explain what what ChatGPT is or a custom GPT to a third grader for them to go, oh gosh, that's amazing. Anyways.
I mean, have you thought about asking ChatGPT how would it explain custom GPTs to a third grader?
No, but that's the perfect thing to use ChatGPT for. So that's
why don't you pull it up on your phone while I explain the next? Well, actually, do you have this installed on your phone yet? Let's ask ChatGPT.
I have ChatGPT right here.
This could be the third co-host.
ChatGPT,
but it's not loading. Come on, ChatGPT, don't fail me now.
Explain ChatGPT and AI models.
I was trying to get the voice assistant app, but it wasn't loading.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that available right now.
Just hold. Oh, there we go. It's up. Hey, ChatGPT, can you explain custom GPTs to our audience? We're live on the air right now, by the way. Like, tell our audience what a custom GPT is, but use it in language a third grader would understand.
Absolutely, Dan. Hey, everyone. Imagine you have a super smart robot friend who knows a lot about everything. Now, what if you could teach this robot friend all about your favorite things, like your favorite games, your family's stories, and the best way to do your homework? That's what a custom GPT is. It's like creating your own special robot that knows everything you teach it, so it can help you with things that are important to you.
It's good. I couldn't help but get a little nihilistic when it started saying, it goes into a robot that then it knows you. It's like, hi, Dan. I'm like, okay. Listening to that freaked me out a little bit, but even not just for a personal use, it could be for personal use. It could also be for your organization. So when you're like, hey, can you give me a 50 character tweet that I can post on X? You don't have to fill it in with, and it has to be about this product and it has to be to this niche market. It already knows all that information. It's going to spit out something as long as you give it a little bit of context about the current event that's currently happening. So
Yep. I guess plug for the community. We just put a course in there that's literally like in 10 minutes, you'll learn. And I even built the GPT to help you build your first custom GPT. Like you just walk, it's made it so simple that within, I guess, 10, 15 minutes, you can have your first company-wide GPT. You just requires one paid account amongst you and your team. And then you can share it with all the unpaid accounts, or if you have a team license, and that works too. So that's going to be in the community.
The question, Dan, where are we putting this link so people can find it if they want to jump into the school community?
So that's a great question. I think I put it on the website. I think I have like a coming here. Well, let's pull it up right now. Great. It's AI-drivenmarketer.com/community. Right now, there's like a wait list form. So fill that out for now. But pretty soon, I'm just going to swap out this form with the link over to school where this thing lives. So a second tool that I found, I'm going to be honest, I haven't actually tried this tool, but I freaking love the idea of this tool, and I'm going to be using it today. But I had to share it now because I thought it was amazing. It's called napkin.ai, and it builds diagrams for you. Wow. And all kinds of visuals, which I find that Midjourney freaking struggles with.
Right? I needed this in 8th grade, man, for chemistry.
Dude, I'm usually having to build out illustrations in Keynote all the time. I literally just did it this morning to like show a walkthrough of like a big website project that I'm working on, where we have to migrate sites over and unbundle this thing and move it off this server onto this server. The amount of circles and arrows I had was amazing. But man, it would have been a lot faster if I would have just used this tool. So I'm going to report back. So I'm going to try out this tool because I'm using diagrams and visuals all the times to explain concepts, because I think it's really helpful. Like a picture is worth 1,000 words. And if it's not an emotional picture of maybe like a benefit of a person using a product, sometimes you just need to explain the concept of how a product works for product marketing, or how an idea works. And, sometimes it's a Venn diagram, but sometimes it's a little bit more complicated, where you have multiple graphics pointing into one thing, or it's splintering, or what the relationship between some ideas look like.
Right.
It's a pretty common thing that we deal with in marketing. You usually have to work with the designer in order to get it right. But this tool, I think, makes it easy, and I'm looking forward to testing it out. So napkin.ai. I think I'll just report back next week on how Napkin went.
I just signed up. I'm excited to see what its ability is. People that build those beautiful graphs and incredible PowerPoints showing their data in beautifully visuals, this is what this basically solves. And I'm really excited about this. I just found out right now on this
surprise.
So, yeah, that's cool.
So there you have it. That is a wrap up of the first episode of Bot Bros. Hopefully this has added some value to you. I'd love some feedback. If you're listening to this after the fact, please shoot me a DM on LinkedIn on linkedin.com/in/digital marketing Dan, or leave a comment in the Apple Podcast app that you're listening to. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment below the video. Would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to the AI Driven Marketer. If this show was any good, please give it a 5-star or whatever star rating you think it deserves on the podcast app that you're listening to, and tap that thumbs up button on YouTube. And if you want to dive deeper into AI and you're still not sure if you've mastered the fundamentals, go to my free AI course at aidrivenmarketer.com and take a look. Learn the fundamentals, and you will never have to look for a prompt cheat sheet again. 5-video series, and you'll even find that I've customized the course so it's hyper personalized for you, your role, and the people you're marketing to. Take a look at it, and let's get started so we can do more with AI today.